We welcome you to this edition of the Power Circuit program, proudly brought to you by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. The power utility company keeps you informed about the transformational activities and its role of managing the national electricity grid. Here are the headlines in today's edition. President Buhari approves new board for TCN. NAPTIN strengthens ties with TCN to deepen capacity building. TCN convenes technical meeting to optimize supervisory control and data acquisition equipment. TCN installs new bulk power feeders in the Lagos region to increase capacity, says Regional Operation Manager. I am Amara Agogoisi. Please stay with us through this half-hour program. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved a new board for the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. Here is a full report on this.
In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the board is headed by the Chairman, Muhammad K. Ahmad. Other members of the board include Chief Henry Okolo, Imamuddin Talba, Ambassador Usman Saraki, Ali Haruna, and Engineer Simeon Atakulu. There is also Zubaida Mahi Rashid, Dr. Mustafa Abiodun Akikumi, Engineer Ladele Amoda, and Dr. Nkiru Balong. The other members of the TCN board are the representatives of the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, the Federal Ministry of Power, the Bureau of Public Enterprises, BPE, FGN Power Company Limited, and the executive management of TCN, currently led by the acting managing director, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz.
The management of the National Power Training Institute of Nigeria, NAPTIN, led by the Director General, Mr. Ahmed Nagode, has paid a courtesy visit to the Acting Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz. The discussions were centered on the capacity building plan of TCN, as NAPTIN solicited that TCN would liaise with the Training Institute for the training of more staff of TCN this year. Our reporter tells us more.
Speaking on the objective of the visit, the Director General of NAPTIN, Mr. Ahmed Nagode, said it was the first formal visit the Institute was paying to the TCN management team since the appointment of the Acting Managing Director of TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz.
I've been to see the MDTCN on a couple of occasions, but I felt I deemed it necessary to make it very, very formal, to really show you that we are in support of your vision, we are in support of your management, and we look forward to working with you.
He also noted that the visit was part of the efforts towards building synergy with other agencies in the power sector.
I remember very well that the Honorable Minister of Power, the Honorable Minister of Power State, have always really enjoyed us, even in our retreat, to really work together as agencies under the Ministry of Power to build a synergy to ensure that we optimally utilize our potentials and resources towards realizing the goals and objectives of the power sector. It is in this line that I'm paying this visit, just to say.
The NAPTIN boss recalled that the Institute had trained about 1,000 staff of TCN in various aspects of technical and administrative skills to improve their performance, as he called for more of such.
In the last 3 years, we've succeeded in working together with TCN to train close to about 1,000 staff of TCN. Under the APWA scholarship, we train close to 300 staff, and under the training continuous education program of TCN, we equally train another 608. And I think that from the feedback which we've gotten, because normally we send a formal feedback to TCN, but at the same time on my own, my personal visit, maybe during the opening of programs or the conclusion of the program, and my interaction with staff, I discovered that they really appreciated the opportunity for them to be trained in order to ensure that they do their job better, and then they are more productive and efficient. And it's that one that normally encourages me to say, look, I'll always try to bring it to my colleagues notice that there's always the need to build human capacity in order to ensure that you deliver on your mandate. And we've always sent back the feedback to management of TCN.
In his remarks, the acting managing director and CEO of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, welcomed the management team of NAPTIN, saying the visit was a strategic one. Engineer Abdulaziz emphasized that the current management is focusing on training and capacity building of the staff, noting that the training for the TCN staff by NAPTIN will continue.
We are aware that even people outside Nigeria are coming here for training. So we agree with you that it is Center for Excellence. The first thing I did when I came here, I asked the EDHR to come out with a training plan, which he did. So it is not only people who are employed or people engineers. No, every staff will go for training. We come out with a plan whereby maybe you start from MD and EDs. There are a number of training they will go annually. Then it comes down up to Officer 4. So we have that plan. And I think the EDHR will communicate with you, will liaise with you, and any training we know that NAPTIN can do, we will not take it outside here.
The Executive Director, Human Resources and Change Management at TCN, Mr. Justin Ishaya Dodo, the TCN management team is committed towards implementing the capacity building policy of the company, just as he reassured NAPTIN of the Managing Director's support for structured and impactful training.
We have taken the step of coming up with a policy. So, and from what he has said, I think we just told the line of what the MD has said, that if there are courses that are available in NAPTIN, we will not bother ourselves inviting others, because we know we are dealing with people who actually have the capacity, they have the expertise, and we have tested them before now, so we can attest to their capabilities.
Also speaking, the Executive Director of the Independent System Operation at TCN, Engineer Maman Lawal, stressed on the need for quality training for the power sector.
We are very much with you, and I'm familiar with your faculty. I'm also familiar with the facilities that we have in training, because several years after I left training, I still had the privilege of serving as an adjunct trainer. So whenever you have a major training program, that is to be conducted, DG, kindly send the trainer in charge to interact with us. You should not be taking for granted that you have this program on your website. There has to be that interaction with our trainer.
The NAPTIN DG, Mr. Nagodi, presented the annual report of the Institute to the MD of TCN, Engineer Abdulaziz.
NAPTIN's annual report of 2019. What we normally do is that 2020 annual report will come in by March, April this year. So it gives me a very big privilege, great privilege and honor, then to present this annual report.
The power circuit continues after this break.
Did you know that our high-tension transmission cables were built to withstand high temperatures except artificially induced ones such as fire? Did you know that burning bush or refuse dumps by TCN transmission tower base or along the transmission line's right-of-way is an offense? Did you know that the fire can cause high-tension transmission lines to snap and fall to the ground, electrocuting living things within the line radius? Did you know that extreme fire can cause the legs of transmission towers to buckle, and that buckling of the main frame of a tower would lead to its collapse and may even pull down other towers along that transmission line's route, causing untold damage to the line? Now that you know, Yes, now that you know, TCN is calling on all citizens of Nigeria to please desist from destroying our collective national investments. Be careful. Do not set fire on trash or burn bush beside transmission towers or under electricity lines nationwide. Help us preserve the transmission grid and save the nation from blackout. TCN, transmitting electricity in the most efficient and effective manner.
The Technical Services Department of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has convened a technical meeting for the optimization of the supervisory control and data acquisition equipment to improve communication and real-time monitoring of the national electricity grid.
The two-day training was attended by all the principal managers across the 9 regions of the organization, which featured technical presentations on the optimization of the supervisory control and data acquisition SCADA equipment. Speaking during the meeting, the Executive Director of the Independent System Operation at TCN, Engineer Muhammad Lawal, who listened to the presentations made by the participants from the 9 regions of TCN, urged the participants to sustain the sacrifice towards ensuring that TCN attained the best standard.
I understand the position. The position will be that everyone is expected to come here prepared and make presentations that will be useful to all. Something as serious as the kind of meeting we are having here today. We really have to be forthright and we have to be honest with ourselves. We're not here to waste time, right?
The General Manager Technical Services of the Independent System Operations ISO at TCN, Engineer Obinna Oswaha, who piloted the meeting, gave further insight into the objective of the meeting.
This is an inaugural meeting of the Technical Services Department of ISO. What we will seek to do is to identify the problems we are having, the issues, the technical issues we are having in these various substations, and then chart a way to solve these problems as quickly and efficiently as possible. So this is the first one, it's a quarterly one for this year. We are going to use it also to give ourselves targets, what we are going to execute between now and April 2021, and then hold ourselves responsible. It's a way of motivating ourselves to ensure that we really move the Technical Services Department, which concerns telecommunications and SCADA in the national grid. You know, one, we have this service level agreement we have signed, which we want to make sure we don't default on the service level agreement the TCN has entered into.
Engineer Soha also noted that the innovative meeting was the first physical meeting at TCN involving principal managers of SCADA and the telecommunication that work on the national grid.
We had another one last year, but it was by Zoom. But this is the first one that we are doing physically, that all the principal managers of all the regions have come. The principal managers for SCADA and telecommunication all over the grid in the whole country.
He also spoke of the targets the meeting is expecting to help meet.
So what I want to achieve is, one, more visibility of the national grid. That's in terms of the use of SCADA. More stations should be available at NCC for operational use. And then the telecommunication also will improve. Improvement of what we have now. And then let everybody know what is happening, interaction between colleagues, and then what headquarters is planning, and then what the World Bank project is all about. So the people will be aware of what is expected of them and what the plan forward is for Technical Services Department.
On her part, a participant and coordinator of SCADA World Bank project, Mrs. Tembora Egeku, said the meeting was organized to create advanced strategies for the maintenance of the transmission system in terms of SCADA and telecommunications for the national electricity grid.
You know, how we can improve, our activities maintenance-wise to ensure that the grid is managed properly using the existing SCADA and telecommunication network. All the heads of departments for SCADA and telecoms have come to make presentations in this meeting. They have talked about the status of their existing equipment. They've talked about the challenges that they encounter in their everyday job, and all that. For me, that is a coordinator, project. I've identified some of the problems, that they undergo that we can improve through the new projects. While we are doing the ongoing maintenance work, we can also improve, help them, by procuring equipment to improve the visibility of the network using the SCADA and telecommunication equipment.
She also noted that the strategies being adopted will transform the telecommunication operation of TCN for higher impact on the national electricity grid.
Based on the challenges that they have presented to management, if most of these issues, are addressed and they improve on their maintenance activities, as well as the new project that is coming on board, we would have complete visibility of the grid network using this equipment. And the visibility of the network will also ensure that the grid is managed optimally, and then we'll have fewer system blackouts, fewer system collapse, and all the problems that we are encountering now in the grid will be reduced drastically.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has installed new bulk power feeders in East Lagos region to provide more capacity and flexibility for power supply to electricity consumers in Lagos and its environs. This was disclosed by the Acting Regional Operation Manager, Lagos Region, Engineer Joseph Johnson Oluwenga, in an interview. Join us as he speaks more about the components of power transmission in the region.
The Acting Regional Operation Manager at the Lagos region of TCN, Engineer Oluwenga, who explained the significance of the region in the power sector, noted that the region is the largest of the 9 regions of TCN and occupies 40% of the national power grid.
Lagos region is the largest region in TCN network as of today. About 40% of the total network covered by Lagos region. We have 5 sub-regions. We have Ajah, Egbe, Akongba, Ikeja West, and Olorun-Sogun. We cover 3 disco companies. Ikeja Disco, which is the largest, followed by Eko Disco, then part of Bado Disco.
The TCN officials further said that the company has 190 power feeders in the Lagos region at present. This is because some of the feeders are newly installed and are being commissioned to increase the load intake from the transmission substations to the distribution load centers under the region.
In Lagos, presently we have about 190 feeders, though there are some that are yet to be commissioned. There are newly installed feeders like Inowuru. A feeder is going to be commissioned any moment from now. Eko is having about 84 feeders, while IE is 78 and Ibadan is 28 feeders. So total 190 feeders. For the load intake, our load intake in the range of 1,400 to 1,600 megawatt. Like for today, daily broadcast, Ikeja is having about 742 megawatt, while Eko is 570 megawatt, and Ibadan, I think it's 103 or 105, between 103 and 105. But today it's around 1,400 and something plus megawatt.
Engineer Oluwenga also said the interface between officials of TCN and those from the 3 power distribution companies DISCOs have been cordial.
The relationship has been cordial for now. Mostly the Ikeja DISCO, the relationship is very good, followed by Eko and Ibadan.
As a technical officer in the power sector, Engineer Oluwenga further demonstrated the reason for consistently monitoring the national electricity grid through a live dashboard.
We have a department in TCN called SCADA. That's a System control and data acquisition. These are HMI equipment, human machine interface. With this, you can see the conditions of our isolator, transformer in the CCR. It's a grid network. Like from here, you can, like the one is displaying here right now, it's a Ikeja. From here, you can see all our networks in Lagos region. It's mirrored to NCC. So NCC is the national control, whereby NCC can see the whole federation. From NCC, you can carry out any operation. Like we are only limited to Lagos region, because this is the regional control center.
The power circuit continues after this break. Don't go away.
Do not build under transmission power lines for your safety and health. Electricity power lines and substations, either for power transmission or power distribution services, are extremely dangerous when exposed to direct human contact. These power lines and substations transmit electricity that lights up our homes and offices, power our computers, TVs, and refrigerators. On the other hand, the same electricity when exposed is extremely dangerous. It can shock, electrocute, and kill anyone on its way. That is why everyone must adopt safety measures whenever we use or are close to electricity facilities like power lines or substation or transformers. For the safety of the people and animals, governments all over the world have approved way leave or right-of-way of 50 meters for 330 kV power lines and 30 meters for 132 kV power lines, and for 33 kV lines, the way leave is 15 meters. People are not expected to be found within this way leave or right-of-way for safety reasons. The lines can suddenly cut and fall to the ground with very disastrous consequences such as fire and electrocution of anybody and destruction of anything, be it vehicle, houses, or vegetation on its line. It has also been established that power lines and substation emit electromagnetic fields, EMF, which is dangerous to human health. The World Health Organization, WHO, has warned that people who spend long hours under or close high-tension lines stand the risk of being affected by EMF and be vulnerable to cancer, leukemia in children, miscarriages among pregnant women, and other terrible diseases. It is therefore advisable not to build any structure or operate any business under or near any electricity high-tension lines or substations. TCN wants you to stay alive, stay safe, stay healthy, avoid power lines. This message is from the management of Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN.
As we sign out on this episode, let's take a look at the stories again. President Buhari approves new board for TCN. NAPTIN strengthens ties with TCN to deepen capacity building. TCN convenes technical meeting to optimize supervisory control and data acquisition equipment. And you heard that the new bulk power feeders TCN has installed in the Lagos region have increased the bulk electricity delivery in the region. We are glad you always stay with us on the Power Circuit program. You can view this episode and others on TCN YouTube channel. Please interact with us on these platforms because TCN needs your support to advance its mandate. The second wave of the coronavirus is on. Ensure you stay safe. Keep observing the safety protocols of non-pharmaceutical interventions like wearing a mask, washing or sanitizing your hands, and keeping physical distance as directed by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC. I am Amara Agugoisi. Thank you for staying with us.